So you all know about the backwalking. You might not call it backwalking. That's what I call it. That's what it used to be called in the old days. So as you're running in '07 and you re-click to run, you have a chance of running off randomly backwards, slightly off to the side. Usually it'll be two squares, but it depends if you're clicking on something or whatever. And there's ways to avoid that. You can figure out how to avoid it almost like instinctively, or you kind of get a rough idea on how to avoid it. But it doesn't quite give you a full understanding of why it's happening and get a clear understanding of how to avoid it in every case. And so that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about teaching you guys how it works, why it's happening. It's not just latency like Jag stated. There is a predictable pattern to it. And even further that, in order to understand how that works, you gotta first understand how running works and stuff. And so, what I have here, right over here, this whole thing over here that you guys are watching, this is a grid. You guys are gonna imagine that this is the RuneScape world. This green thing is going to be a tree, so this is going to be a little obstacle. So you guys can just kind of see how running works around that and stuff. And this red dot is your starting position, and basically, yeah, I'm going to work off that, and here we go. So to start off, when you click to go to a destination here, so like say you click here, it first looks at the diagonal, so you got this little diagonal right here, and it essentially it'll bring you, so it goes straight north, and then until you reach this diagonal, and then it'll start going this way, and this is what you see. So it'll always do a cardinal direction, north, east, south, or west, until it reaches the diagonal, until the final destination, and then it'll do that. So it'll be two changes of any distance, and this is assuming there's no obstacle like this in the way. But what's really happening here is you're never actually standing on half of these squares. So since the game works with ticks, every tick you're actually moving. When you run, you move two spaces, and so this space you're never actually on the square. You're basically here. You do a little mini teleport to here, then another one to here, and then another one here and here until you find a destination. And so you're really going in twos when you're running. Switching back to this view, when you are moving here, you got to remember you are actually at the location before you actually get there. So when you see the animation of you traveling along this path, or this path, whatever, you are at the location before your characters actually reach it. So when your character's like right here as you're running, you're already here. As soon as it's passing here, as soon as it's on here, you're already actually here on the server. The server tracks you as at this location. And this is important for later on. Now say your final destination is right here. This would make your total distance an odd number of moves. And so on the final tick, instead of moving two squares, you move one square. So you actually do end up standing in this location. Now, an alternative is what if you clicked a little bit north here, so you went along this path. So you're going to be going here, and what you're going to actually visually see, you're not going to see yourself go this way. So you might see yourself go along this path. You're not going to see yourself do that. You're going to see yourself do this. But because this is you're going to see the animation basically. You're not going to like cut across here. You're not going to go like that. You're going to see the animation go like that. This little key, this part right here, this is very key. This is the big thing that causes the backwalking. So whenever you have this little night move between two ticks here, where you're traveling from this to this, and this is the big thing you got to watch out for with the backwalking, and you'll see in a second. Now starting from here, from nothing again, and you want to go right here. It's going to find the closest diagonal with this, and it's going to follow this diagonal here, but then it's going to realize, okay, I can't go this way. So I was going to think this one through, is that it's going to do the sideways thing. So it does diagonal, starting from the end. It'll do diagonal first, then it'll do the closest straight path. So this is going to be a straight path right here. until I can reach another diagonal, which is right here. That is directly straight from this. And this is how the route's going to go. And then undoing this, going to be gap here, going to be gap here, going to be gap here, gap here, gap here, gap here, and gap here. And the key thing to notice about this is that there are two night moves. There's a night move right here, and there's a night move right here. When you're working around these obstacles, it is very you basically have a lot of night moves around them. You're gonna notice there's a lot. You're gonna have a lot of these curves. And now this is in reality this is looks like a pretty ugly run. So I'm just gonna quickly add this just to make it more realistic here. So in order to get past here, you're gonna want to go there. And also in reality, you're going to be trying to take the most efficient route to go to a location. And so let's say the location you really want to continue going down is already down the same route. And this is going to be key here, because if you're already going down the same route, this is what's going to cause an issue. And so if you make your new destination right here, and you're going to continue, you're going to keep on going wherever you're going. But you got to continue going down the same route. That means your new destination is going to have basically the same route as your old route. Because you're going to keep going down here and you're going to continue having the same route as the old route that was already planned when you re-click. And generally, that's going to be the case most of the time. Really depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you might not want it to be the same route. Depends on if you have to re-click or whatever. And so here we're going to go, for now we're just going to assume it's going to be down the same route. And when you're going down the same route, this is when you're going to have the backwalking all the time. The backwalking occurs anytime your new route causes you to have a night move in the very first tick. And so if you are right here and you re-click this spot, if you click this spot way up here, so first time you clicked on this square, second time you clicked on this square, and you clicked on this square as you were passing this curve, and so on the server you're standing right here. Visually you are moving here. You're in the process of doing this turn. This is right before this this night move here, and since your new path is gonna have this at the very beginning of the new route, it's going to cause you to have an issue. It's going to have you, I'm not actually sure where it's going to move you in this case because you got this up here, but this will definitely guarantee that you have a backwalk. This is one of those ugly things. This one's going to be, it's going to show you go like that. So typically what happens, it'll move you off onto something else. So actually you can go test this, see what happens, but generally you're gonna go off some random place like this and then you're gonna move right back onto your normal path over here, and it's gonna be something really ugly. So that's the main thing that causes it, anything that has that. And another issue, so basically with this, you just want to re-click anytime you're on the straight path. That's not going to be right before a turn. So if you remove this, remove this, remove this, so let's pretend this doesn't exist anymore. And actually, let's just remove all of this. So say you're going to be doing a long diagonal. This, if you re-click right here, so you clicked right here and you went like that, you re-click right here, you're going to continue. You're going to be continuing fine as long as you do a straight line, because your next route is not going to be your next route is not going to have any nice squares. Now say for whatever reason you wanted to change your mind and you wanted to make your path go up here. So you're right wherever you are in any of these locations, since there are no night moves that you'll create. So you'll just go like that and bang, you're right there, you're perfectly fine. It's these straight things are fine. What would cause an issue here though is if you did, so let's remove this, you wanted to make your next move right here. So you clicked this. So first time you clicked here, second time you clicked here, and you clicked here at any point in this long ass diagonal. What this is going to do is this is going to cause you to so say you were moving from here to here and you decide to click right here. This is going to have you go right here. When you're on this spot, it's going to make your next tick go right here, supposedly. and then it's going to be like that. Except it's not going to happen like that. It's not going to be as neat as that. You're going to be right here, and then it's going to do some fuck ugly thing like, let's see, it'll probably have to go like this, and then run right up, or something like that. So it'd be like some stupid ugly thing like that, and you waste a tick or two. But that's what happens. You can force yourself right there to have that back walk, and so basically you just gotta be sure. In the case of this long ass diagonal, you wanna click at least 2 squares north of what the diagonal would be, or 2 or 3 or whatever, 4 even, if you want, but it has to be at least 2. If you click on so like you're in this diagonal and you're clicking, so you click on this 2, you're gonna come up here and you're gonna do a straight root, bang bang bang. So the very first tick is not a night move. The very first tick of a change is a night move. You'll have a backwalk. If the very first tick of a change, even if it is a change, so even if it's the exact same route, so we can actually move me a little down, okay, and boom, and yeah, so I'm just gonna, so yeah, I'm just gonna repeat this. If the very first tick of a new move, which will follow the same exact route here, and you're right here, and you clicked right there when you were right here, because the next tick would be this, because it's gonna follow the same route, you're gonna have a backwalk as well. And so on the diagonals, you want to click at least 2 up, and if you're gonna be doing a straight path here, and so like you're going straight, but you want to go like right here. This is your final destination. You just want to keep going. Actually, okay, let's make the final destination here. Okay. You want to just re-click right here. So say you couldn't click up here because you couldn't see this far. So you decided, wow. Okay, here we go. So you decided to click here first, and you're gonna click here later on, but you haven't clicked here yet. You clicked here. You're running straight up. You wanna and then around here you might want to do a second click right here. Well, actually, you want to do that before you get here. So as you're running up here, you want to do a second click right here, and then so make a destination there. And then as you're like over here, you're gonna make this next click here, and if it's even or odd, if it's odd, you'll have the night move. If it's even, you won't. You can't tell that as you're running. It's not something you're gonna be able to notice usually when you're that far away, if it's gonna be an even or an odd. And so generally, you're gonna want to click before you get to the diagonal wherever this diagonal is going to be. So you're going to see this invisible line of a diagonal as you're running. You're like, okay, I'm getting close to where this is. I got to make sure I don't click it right before I'm there. I got to click it, so if you had already clicked on the turn, wait until as you're turning, after you're turning, but don't do it right before you're turning. Because if you do it right before you're turning, that's going to give you a backwalk. And yeah, so if you like this video and you want to see others, just like it. I've done other micro-efficiency things. This is an example of micro-efficiency of when I use my knowledge of ticks to improve my speed. This definitely does sound complicated. It sounds like a lot of work. It could sound easy once you understand it, but there's a lot more into it than just having the knowledge of doing it. So having the knowledge of doing it and then actually doing it are two different things. And so just knowing how to avoid it and then actually avoiding it all the time, those are two different things. It takes a lot of practice, particularly with the diagonals. So straight lines are very easy. You can see obstacles coming, and so you can avoid re-clicking your route right before you get that curve coming up. But if you're on a diagonal, if you click slightly, if you click just south of one, so if you click just south of this or just north of that, you're going to be forcing yourself to have a night move as your next move. So it'll go like here to here if you're right there, and or rather if it's a long ass diagonal. So yeah, just do a quick thing. If it's a long ass diagonal like that, and you do just north of it or just south of it by 1 square, you gotta force yourself to have that night move. And so trying to aim for a perfect diagonal is not really a good idea. You can do it because if you get the perfect diagonal, you're still going a straight line, but it's not very it's not a very good idea if you want to be consistent, because you put yourself at risk. The mini-map, the mini-map and the compass and main game mode. They're not all aligned perfectly, and so it's not very easy to get it down right, like consistently. And so I highly recommend you definitely do a 2 or 3 squares north of a perfect diagonal, just so you can keep that running up. And don't do too many, otherwise you won't get to your destination. But yeah, there's a lot of skill involved. It takes a lot of practice, and yeah, there's other similar things that I've used for agility during my time. Some of them you can't quite do as well consistently within this game, particularly because of this pathfinding issue. Um, so I suppose, yeah, you can do it if you. It makes it a lot more harder, I guess. So yeah, that's not a problem. I guess it's possible. But yeah, I can make videos showing some of these other tricks I've used in the past. That was after the backwalking was removed, but it should be possible to do it with the backwalking. It's just a lot more difficult. It takes a lot more precise timing, and there might be a few things you can't do due to there being badly placed night moves. But yeah, there's other similar tricks to this that involve a lot of knowledge of just how running works and the whole system works. And yeah, I can possibly make videos on those in the future. I did make a video with the link to a post I made on Tippet, and that post has a lot of information. So yeah, you can go read that if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hope you like this video.